Ushers, Bryce Ullman here. I'm one of the Protestant chaplains. We're so thrilled that you are giving back to our community through this type of service. It's always my prayer for anyone who volunteers in any program that you also find it rewarding and it's an opportunity for you to grow even deeper in your own faith and Christian walk with Jesus Christ. So what this video is going to do is walk you through the responsibilities of an usher so that we have an amazing Protestant worship service each and every Sunday. So the first thing that you're going to do is we're asking that ushers arrive approximately 30 minutes early so that we can have everything set up before a lot of people are in here, and to help facilitate the switchover, because we would have just received this space from the Catholic Mass, the 8:30 Catholic Mass, that hands it over to us at 9:30. So arriving around 9:30 is going to be the best bet to help with that transition. So you will have received a checklist right here. If you're like me, you might forget this from time to time, but we're also going to have it posted in the sacristy, and I'll show you where that's going to be. And that just walks you through each and every responsibility and makes the process seamless. And I'll also refer you to our Freedom Worship Volunteer Handbook that you would have also received. If you prefer learning by reading, you can look at that as well. And again, we're always available for any questions you might have, or if anything isn't super clear. So we're starting in the sanctuary here. Hopefully this is a familiar point of reference. And I'm going to take you now into the sacristy, which is going to be, what is this, stage left? Is that what we call it?
If you're on stage.
There we go. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. So this is the sacristy here. We're going to have this checklist posted right here. It's just going to be taped there. So if that's helpful to you, you can always refer to it there. But I'm going to have it with me just to go step by step and show you exactly what needs to happen. And it's super simple. So the first thing is set up the Bible and stand on the altar. So we're in the sacristy. We're going to come back to the corner here, right above the tambourines. And do we have a cowbell in here?
Sometimes.
Yeah, we always need more cowbell. Anyways, right above this, in the corner, you're going to find this cabinet, and we have the Bible. So if you can just get a view of this here to see what all we have in here. We Protestants, we like our scripture, so we always go for the biggest Bible here, right? So we're going to take this big one out, and then go ahead and shut that there. And the Bible needs a stand. So this is the missal stand that the Catholics use. They always leave it right here. And we're simply going to use it to prop the Bible up so it's visible on the altar. So we're going to take this, and on our way out, since we are super efficient, we are going to grab the lighter right here. All right, so we're going to take this with us as we walk to the altar. So, because Scripture is central to the Protestant faith, we symbolize this by placing the Bible central on the altar here. And you can just judge it the best way you can. We'll fine-tune the placement in just a little bit. Now, it's very important. We're going to open the Bible because you can't read a closed Bible. And be very careful where you open it to, because that's where the preacher has to preach from. So help us out just a little bit there, all right? So the Bible is on the stand. You brought out the lighter. Very, very simple. You're going to light the 4 candles, okay? So, very easy. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You young ushers, this is probably your favorite part. Who doesn't like a little bit of fire? All right, now we're at step 3 already. Super fast, right? So we're going to set out the small wooden podium in the center of the stage. All right, very much like the Scriptures, Scripture is central to the Protestant faith, so is teaching from the Scriptures central to the Protestant faith as well. So this is always going to be in the corner. I just recommend getting a hand or two underneath. It's the easiest way to bring it out. If it's a little heavy, you can always have someone help you out. But again, just eyeball it here. You can kind of use the chandeliers in the center to get it in a pretty good place, but we'll fine-tune everything in just a little bit. All right, now we are on step 4, so positioning the Protestant cross. So you see back here, the Catholics would have left this blank, right? So their cross is going to be out. Ours is going to be behind this curtain right here. So we're just going to look for this thicker brown rope kind of toward the front. There's also this in the back. We want the one in the front, and I never know which side to pull. So
I think you go up.
All right, I'm told you go up. If that's not the right way, you'll notice and just go the opposite way. So yep, we see the cross coming out. There it is. And so in the Protestant service, we have an empty cross or cross without the body on it. And for us, that just symbolizes that Christ has risen and defeated death. And that's the cross that we use. Now again, this is the time where we can fine tune everything. So one thing that I like to do is just from the perspective of the audience, simply come out here and you can kind of try to align everything here, as you can see. So right now, I'm going to say the podium might need to go a little bit to the right, as with the cross as well. The truth is, no one's ever seated immediately in the aisle. They're always looking at an angle, so they'll never know if it's perfectly lined up or not, but we're going to do our best. All right, so that should do it. While I'm back behind here as well, let me also show you, we have this amazing iPad. It took me a year and one day to know that this is back here, but it's pretty awesome. Let me show you what it does. If you can see on here, on the bottom left, you have stage lights off. You're gonna hold that down, slide to the right, and then move this just a little bit to a collar, and look at the awesomeness that comes out right here. We can select different collars, but this just kind of adds to the ambiance of our contemporary Protestant worship service. So that's pretty cool. We want to make sure we're doing that. And then this flag is for the Catholics. We just make sure that's tucked behind just like that. All right, what's next? We'll just refer to our checklist once again. All right, so now we're at step 5, talking about lights. Let's also turn off the main lights. So we're gonna go back into the sacristy. All right, and so as you see right here, right now the chandeliers are on, and then kind of these recessed lights are also on. It's super bright in here. But for us, we're going to turn those recessed main lights off and just leave the chandeliers on. So if you can come in here, look at that. Easy, right? Main lights, we're just going to turn that off. And you'll see the lights come off. Make sure the chandeliers are still on, and we are good to go. Okay, so almost at the end. Now we're going to walk back toward the end of the sanctuary. And as we're walking back, we can get a really good sight picture of the pews. Again, remembering that the Catholics have just used this. They're going to do their best to clean up, to hand it over to us, and then we're going to do our best to clean up and hand it back over to them. But sometimes things get left out. So if anything seems out of place, you can fix it at this point as you're walking back. But then once you're back here, we're going to go behind this really cool desk that we got here. In the offering plates, we're going to have ribbons. And so what we're going to do with these ribbons is just encourage people to sit together a little closer. Because I don't know about you, but I don't like to shout across several pews at people. So we want people to build community by sitting closer together. Now the truth is, we have a pretty full church. But starting out, we're at least going to rope off the first 3, just like that. And of course, we're going to do it on the insides and the outsides of the pews. And then as the sanctuary gets fuller, we can simply release a pew at a time as needed. But this will help encourage people to sit together, and it'll build more natural community, more connections in that way as well. Okay, so we are almost there. Last thing that I'm going to talk to you about is a really important piece. We're going to go back out here. So at this point, the greeters would have taken over, and maybe your double duty, maybe your greeting as well. But the service had just begun. Maybe about 15 minutes, 20 minutes into the service, it's going to be time for taking up the offering, tithes and offering. So if you're an usher, you would be back here. And behind this desk, you're going to find the offering plates. Now, this is a really important part of our service. Not only does it help fund what we do as a community, but if you understand the biblical principles behind this, it's also an act of worship. So this is a very sacred piece of our service. So there's going to be two ushers, should be two ushers. So we're going to hold one plate each, and at the right time, you'll know when the right time is. But at the right time, you'll simply walk forward. You don't have to run forward. Don't walk too slowly, just in the middle. And then our service leader at that point is going to pray for our offering. And then it's going to be really simple. You just pass some plates around, right? So you're going to be passing it this way. That usher will take care of this side of the sanctuary. And, bigger smiles usually result in more money, right? So be friendly. I'm just kidding. And then we'll just pass it around. And then once we're back, after everyone has a chance to put it in their Benjamins, you're simply going to collect it. And then I'm going to refer you to your CTOF training to go to the counting room, count it according to those procedures, and safeguard the offering and the safe at that point. So this concludes our ushering training. Again, we have the handbook that addresses all of this in writing, if that's your preferred method of learning. Otherwise, if you have any questions, reach out to Alestra, to me, any of our Protestant chaplains. And again, thanks for serving our community in this special way.